For whatever reason, I used to have this habit of downloading gigabytes upon gigabytes of TV and anime theme songs. And something that I found was often these shows had completely different theme songs in different foreign language markets. For example, a few months ago on Twitter, I was trying to find this old Italian theme song for Spider-Man. That is the Italian cartoon version, not the movie Italian Spider-Man, which I do plan on covering in the future. And actually, the existence of that movie made the search really hard, as well as the Spider-Man pizza meme. As it turned out, I was looking for the wrong series, and it was actually the 1981 Spider-Man cartoon. Amazing song, totally worth the night I spent searching for it. And apparently, Spider-Man wasn't alone in having a really good Italian version of its song. Over the past few months, I had been receiving messages bringing my attention to the Italian version of the Urusei Yatsura theme song. Another great Italian theme song, but there's one problem. Nobody knows who made it. So for this episode of Tales from the Internet, let's talk about the search for the Italian version of the Urusei Yatsura theme, or as they call it over there, Lamú, la ragazza dalla Spazia. This video is sponsored by Scentbird. Scentbird is a monthly subscription service that lets you sample from over 600 different fragrance brands. Scentbird lets you choose a different men's or women's fragrance each month for only $15. That's perfect for someone like me who would like to get into fragrances, but doesn't really know enough, so I want to try and sample around and see what I like. With each fragrance, you'll get a 30-day supply, which is between 120 and 140 sprays. That's more than a typical trial version, and you can upgrade to get 2 or 3 different ones a month. Scentbird partners with top brands you know like Gucci, Prada, or Versace, and you can also get more niche indie fragrances like Roja. This month I received Issey Miyake's I can't pronounce the name of the fragrance that I got, but it's a really nice fragrance. I got Amouage Jubilation, and I got Clive Christian X. And while, like I said, I'm not experienced enough with fragrances to give you real in-depth reviews of these, I'm satisfied with them, and I feel like it's a broad range of stuff for me to experiment with. When you go to Scentbird.com, just make sure you use code WANG30 for 30% off your first order. That means just $10 for your first month. And also check out their iOS and Android app, which is really convenient to use. Just click the link below. Urusei Yatsura is, according to many, one of the most influential anime and manga series of all time. It tells the story of Lum, an invader from outer space, who believes she is now married to a human named Ataru after he accidentally proposes to her. With the manga beginning its run in 1979 and the anime series beginning its run in 1981, it really set the stage for a lot of magical girlfriend type anime series. Yet in the US, it's only primarily known among hardcore anime enthusiasts. Although it was translated and released on VHS in the 90s, it never received the same kind of widespread airplay that a lot of other series did. It only aired in some markets that had the AZN television cable channel. But in Italy, where it's known as Lamú, la ragazza dalla Spazia, I think I pronounced that pretty well actually, or Lum, the space girl, it is, as I understand it, massively popular. People who grew up in Italy might know Lamú in the way that people who grew up in the US, even if they're not hardcore anime fans, know Dragon Ball Z or Sailor Moon. And perhaps that's why, for nearly 40 years, people have been investigating one of this show's biggest mysteries. Who made the theme song? You see, the Italian version of the show had its own theme song that was completely different from the Japanese one. Here it is. I think it's a really cool song, but no singer or songwriter was ever credited for it. And unlike a lot of other series, it was never released on an album or a single. And what makes it even more maddening, listen to how the song fades out. You can tell that there's more to this song than what we actually hear, and this is pretty commonplace on TV shows. If you've ever gone to listen to something like the Power Rangers theme, or the Pokemon theme, or the Fresh Prince theme, you know that there's all these extra verses that you never hear in the opening. They just cut it down so it can fit in an intro. And that's actually where the first big wrinkle in this story comes from. In the early days of the online search for this song, people were looking for the full version of it. And that's when it happens. All of a sudden, a 3.5-minute full version of it pops up online. This one has more verses and it has a keyboard solo. So where did this come from? Did somebody find the original artist? Was it released on an album finally? Did someone at the studio leak it? Well, as it turns out, this was not the real song. Rather, the piece, including the original keyboard solo, was all put together by an internet user named KBL. And although throughout the years of the search, people will often come up with this theme and say, "Hey guys, I found the song," it was never KBL's intention to deceive anybody. In fact, he was such a big fan that he would create the KBL forums, which was for TV shows, cartoon music, and would wind up being a host to one of the biggest threads investigating this mystery. KBL also had an idea to potentially solve this mystery. Perhaps if he took his version of the song and released it on a compilation of music, maybe then the creator of the song would come forward and try to claim it. However, this would not work, and he would not be the only person to attempt this method. One of the leads that people interested in this mystery would pursue was the SIAE, the Italian Society for Authors and Publishers. It was thought that perhaps the song could be found by searching copyrighted titles with relevant names. And during the search, a lot of songs did emerge with the title Lamú. However, none of them were the right song, except for one of them, kind of. One copyright for Lamú was held by Mirko Fabreci of the band Raggi Fotonici. Raggi Fotonici is an Italian band that specializes in covers of cartoon theme songs. In 2007, they released an album called Gente di Cartunia. The fourth track on this album was a cover of Lamú's theme song. Like KBL before him, Mirko had hoped that laying claim to this song would cause its true creator to come out of hiding, but to no avail. But because of this, since 2007, many people have come out thinking that Mirko was the guy who performed in the original song. Then there's the case of Stefano Bersola. Stefano is another person who is sometimes claimed to be the original singer. This confusion comes from the fact that Stefano sang one of the later theme songs, and he actually was credited for his version. Ironically, Stefano would eventually cover the original theme song, and when he did, he had to credit Mirko Fabreci as the composer because, as far as anyone knows legally, he is the de facto copyright holder. Stefano would also go on to do a live performance with Raggi Fotonici. Ultimately though, the copyright search would lead to no concrete progress. And some people proposed another theory. What if this song wasn't even made as a theme song to the show? The lyrics don't necessarily relate to the plot or the characters. Could the producers of the Italian version have simply picked a nice song that already existed? One thing that makes me think that isn't so is the existence of the end theme. The end theme is an instrumental version of the opening theme, which is a pretty common trope in cartoons. Lots of cartoons from that time period did that. I would think that if they wouldn't bother making an original theme song for the opening, they wouldn't bother making a pared down version for the ending. But that's all just assumptions. You know who would know for sure? The companies involved in the translation and the release in Italy. The first to be examined is a company named Telecapri. Telecapri was a TV station founded by brothers Claudio Federico and Constantino Federico, who was for a time the mayor of Capri. People investigating this mystery would try to contact anybody who was associated with the company, but they rarely got any sort of response. And when they did, it was usually a refusal to comment on it, which is kinda reasonable considering that there may be legal issues surrounding a song that nobody knows the ownership of. In fact, Federico Constantino's lawyer got involved and said that the song was already a part of the show when they received it at the station. The search would then go to a company called Rickman Sound. Rickman Sound appeared in the end credits of the show, and it was possible that they were involved in the production of the song. The people who were searching for the song contacted a number of musicians who had been connected to Rickman Sound, many of them pointing back to someone at the company named Monica Cadueri. Unfortunately, she could not be reached, and the company is now defunct, making it somewhat of a dead end. And as with any search, this one was also fraught with hoaxes. Take for example the case of Vincenzo Spampinato. He was one of the potential suspects, and a comment he made in a 2010 interview really got people interested in him. And now, keep in mind, this is all going through Google Translate, so any grammatical errors that you see here, they're not the fault of the original author. In fact, Google Translate, as an aside, confused me the whole time I was working on this video, because apparently the Italian word for theme song can also be the Italian word for acronym. So half the articles and posts I'm reading through, they're talking about some acronym, and I'm like, what acronym? Like VHS or what? Then I remember that synonyms exist and they're different in other languages, so we got that resolved. Anyway, Vincenzo Spampinato. On the internet, there is a lot of talk about the mystery of the theme song of Lamú, a Japanese cartoon from the 1980s. Even today, it is not known who sings it. Among the possible singers, your name is mentioned. What can you tell us? Since mysteries fascinate me, I want to cultivate this for a while longer. Will I be the one singing this song? I have decided that before 2012, I will say it. But I can reveal another thing to you. The acronym there we go with the acronym. He's talking about a theme song. Sorrisi Superstar of the 80s TV commercials of Smiles and Songs was written by me, together with the great Maurizio Fabrizio. And to me, this immediately sounds like he was just making a joke there, but a lot of people thought there was more to it. And on the KBL forums that I mentioned earlier in the video, a user named Master Roshi got in touch with Vincenzo. He spoke to him on Facebook, and Vincenzo took credit. He was the guy who sang the song. But then, it turned out to be a fake account and he deleted it. Then there was the case of the Polish version of Lamú. A different version of the show's credits made it to YouTube, allegedly from a TV station called Polonia 1 in Poland. This is a Polish TV station that was founded by Italians and often runs the Italian versions of anime. This purported Polish version of the show contained new credits, attributing the writing to Lorenzo Canovi and the singing to Romeo Corpetti. When contacted about this though, Canovi said that he definitely did not write this song, and to him, the singer did not sound like Corpetti. Furthermore, anime fans from Poland said that the show never aired over there in any form, Italian or otherwise. One lead, however, that was a bit more promising was published by a website named Giornale Pop. This story claimed that Shuki Levy and Haim Saban, who you probably know from Power Rangers, were involved in the song. Shuki Levy and Haim Saban? A contact of mine who signs himself on the web, Gats76, regarding musical rights, quotes none other than Haim Saban and Shuki Levy, American entertainment giants. Does Power Rangers say anything to you? In circulation since the 70s, Levy has composed soundtracks and acronyms of many successful works, from He-Man to Mask. Saban Entertainment has often imported, adapted, and dubbed Japanese works for the American market, remaking the soundtrack. As well as with Deke Entertainment, he co-produced other cartoon series between France and Japan. And that lead in and of itself might not seem like all that much at first, but it is very strong corroborating evidence for what comes next. On January 19th, 2020, a Lamú fan named Franco Amoroso posted to the Facebook group Fumetoso, which is focused on Italian comics and cartoons. He shared an article from Sigle TV, which documents much of the search, and he asked who people think the singer was. A user named Wally Rainbow replied, floating the idea that perhaps the person behind the song was a TV singer and songwriter named Noam Kaniel. Noam Kaniel has a very large resume, and Wally posted a few songs for comparison. One of them was the Italian Spider-Woman theme. Another was the theme for Heathcliff.
Heathcliff, Heathcliff, no one should terrify their neighborhood.
To me, that sounds a lot like the same guy, and if you're not sold, I found another example.
Here we are, going far to
Furthermore, among Gnome's credits are several Power Rangers theme songs. You know what that means. Gnome, hailing from Israel, was a longtime collaborator of his countrymen Haim Saban and Shuki Levy. He'd even moved to LA in 1978 to work with them. He was a consistent collaborator of theirs throughout the 80s and still works with them to the present day. So there was just one thing left to do: contact Gnome. Wally, however, had indicated that he had tried to message him on Facebook all the way back in 2018 with no reply. Franco decided that perhaps it was time to try again. He too received no response. But that wasn't the end of the trail, because in the meantime, Wally Rainbow claimed that he spoke to a collaborator of Gnome's who said that the singer in the Lamú theme was indeed him. Of course, without any kind of concrete proof, people were skeptical. In the meantime, people didn't want to be bothering Gnome or anyone involved in this too much as to not scare them away, but Franco decided maybe he should just poke Gnome one more time and send him another message. Double texting, that's pretty ballsy. And it worked. On January 24th, an Italian Facebook page named Il Mistero della Sigla di Lamú, which had been involved in the search for several years, published confirmation that Gnome replied to Franco. Here is his message. Hello Franco, thank you for your kind message. I remember singing this song and I hear my voice clearly in it, but I'm not singing alone, it's more like a duet. Unfortunately, I do not recall at all the name of the singer it was so many years ago in Los Angeles. If the name comes back to me, I'll write you again. Thank you. So there you have it. Gnome Caniel, in his own words, is one of the singers who is in this song. A nearly 40-year-old mystery mostly solved. But I say mostly because there are still two questions left. Who is the other singer? Well, hopefully after thinking about it for a while, Gnome will remember. 2. Where's the real rest of that song? Hopefully someone somewhere has it. I mean, it seems like the TV industry is better at preserving its stuff than the video game industry is, and maybe the discovery of the singer will lead to the discovery of the entire song. But anyway, thanks for watching, and if you like this video, you'll probably also like my videos about the most mysterious song on the internet. Peace out.